So I have to switch to English according to the colleague who would like to have a video in English. Yesterday I've done it in German, so I will do my very best. My point is, at the early beginning I would like to start with an introduction of the KNX system, who we are and where we are coming from. And for that I have prepared some slides for that. And to give you an overview how strong we as an association are, here are some facts and figures. And actually we have roughly 420 members across the world. Members, in our perspective, are always manufacturers of products. That means more than 400 companies are producing in 41 countries of the world KNX products and distributing that into the market. Which leads to the second point that we are able to offer more than 7,000 certified products and product groups. 7,000 products would be not too much, but these are product groups. That means a group is, for example, push buttons, and behind such a group there are many products, some hundred of products. We are very proud to have KNX partners in more than 160 countries in the world, and these are more than 70,000 partners. They are doing day by day KNX projects in the market and bringing these products in systems into life for the benefit of the customers. If you are interested in that system, then it is wise to attend a training. And for that we are offering 420 training centers in nearly 70 countries in the world. And if you are a user and you would like to be organized according to a specific direction, then we have the possibility to attend 21 user groups. We have 44 national groups, and for scientific relationship, we have a partnership with 134 companies. Most of them are universities. They are attending this group. Here an overview about our national groups, and actually it's our 45. And the flags show how spread we are, distributed around the world. And this gives an overview how large the system is implemented in the different countries in the world. So you can start in the Far East, in China, Taiwan, and step over the globe. You will find nearly in each country a national group, which means that there is an organization behind that more than 5 manufacturers have founded a national group, and they are doing day by day marketing for the KNX in their dedicated country. Standards in our application field very important to be covered, and this is the point why we started very early in the beginning. When we have introduced our system in the market, we started this process, and we succeeded therein, because in 2003 we became Senelec standard, in 2005 we became SEN standard, 2006 ISO IEC, very important for us as well. And we are really very proud that we can say we are Chinese standard. Our system is really in the Chinese standard, and this is very important for such a country, because in China the design institutes, they are really describing the projects in tenders according to the standards. So this is a very important point for us. In the US, in the ANSI and the ASHRAE world, we are standard in the BACnet standard 135. And the latest point out of that is that we became in Australia and in New Zealand standard. So if you take a look on that, our system is well implemented in the world and can be used each and everywhere according to the defined standards. Standards is one side of the coin. The other side is, how are we represented in the market? How strong are we? And for that, an independent market research company, which is SRIA, located in UK, they make roughly all 2 or 3 years, they make an investigation in the market to identify in which countries which standard in smart home and light commercial is really implemented and are dominating the market. And therein, they found out that in Germany, it's more than 50%, it's KNX. In the different countries, a different portion of KNX, but what we can recognize, it's really in nearly all countries, KNX is the dominating system. And we have been very surprised by China. In China, we have a market share of 42%, which is for a country where lots of different companies are active in that field, smart home and light commercial, with everything you can imagine that can be used. We are really the market leader above all other things and stronger than proprietary systems, which are just covering 38%. To give an idea about what turnover has been done with KNX. We have started an investigation internally and asked our companies, please tell us roughly to have an idea what is really the turnover which is made by KNX. And in 2016, we came to the figure that 2 billion B2B level, that means really the manufacturer is selling to his next level. It's not the end customer price. 2 billion turnover have been created there. When you then add it up with the different steps in the commercial activities, in projects, in services, we are on the level of 3.7 billion euros created by KNX only in the year 2016. And assuming that we are 26 years in the market, now we are more than 26 years in the market, we are 28 years in the market, but in 2016 it had been 26 years, then we know that we have brought into the market more than 300 million devices. Device means products. 300 million products talking KNX. And the accumulated turnover, which has been done since the early beginning until now, or until 2016, had been 15 billion euros. It's a tremendous amount of money which had been created out of that activities. All this, what I have described, is done with KNX as a system which is communicating on twisted pair, on radio frequency, and a small portion on power line. But we have recognized that it's really the time now to step into a new field and to open our system in the direction of being part of the Internet of Things. So we started to do the development because our device cannot, for the future, sit behind a KNX gateway, which always is, at the end of the day, something which has to be configured, which has to be maintained all the time. So we know exactly that twisted pair and RF will survive and will exist later on, but we need another way of getting in touch with the IoT world. And for that, we started this development and created the first elements out of that. And the most important element therein is that we have to come to a common semantics definition, that we are really able to interact between the different devices on a highest level of in the application layer. For that, to support this KNX IoT strategy, we identified in the market 2 initiatives. They could support us. We identified that, and one initiative is Fairhair, the Fairhair Allianz, and the other one is the Thread Group. Both are on the way to define specific elements in the IP protocol, which fits perfect into our targets, into our structure. And this is the point why we got in touch with Fairhair and with Thread, and came to a common conclusion that we interwork together. This was the early beginning, and definitely Fairhair is concentrating on the definition of the security mechanisms on the upper layer above the physical layer, but not stepping into the application layer. And thread is on the way to standardize, at the end of the day, this radio frequency elements for the future, really as an IP-based system. And this, we recognize, fits perfect into our targets, and then we started to work with them. As a summary out of that, now in the direction of Fairhair, it is that the application layer, which could be KNX based, which could be BACnet based, which could be Zigbee based, is out of the target of Fairhair. They are not defining that. But each and everything which is below that, for capable devices, sorry for the mix-max of the words there below, this is in the target of Fairhair to define that as a common standard. And this is what we are really like on these initiatives, and this is the reason why we joined. It's nearly the same structure when you take a look on Thread. Thread is also not getting in touch with the application layer, so we can keep our application layer, but then below that, everything which is based on the wireless communication, this is in the focus of Thread to define that. So that we will come up at the end of the day with a common understanding in the definitions, and this describes it very good. When you take a look on that, then you find here, this is the IP protocol. And this will be in the future one standard in the world. Covered by Thread, covered by Fairhair, containing the radio frequency based as well as the wired based structure. And everything which is above this IP communication layer, then is application layer. And in that area, we as KNX, we find really our position with our mechanisms in the commissioning tool and with all our benefits we have already implemented in the market. So this is a very, very good structure for us. And I added in parallel then the picture for BACnet, which is using at the end of the day the same structure. The IP network is used in the same way. This is a common IP network and communication layer, and the application layer is definitely, yes, it's BACnet separate. So that we come at the end of the day, we get rid of all this different IP protocols in the building. We get one, and then we can use one structure to communicate according to the application fields directly with the need, or with not the need to have separate wiring. This was my short presentation about KNX, and I thank you very much for your attention, and I'm here for answering questions. Whatever you have, please feel free to ask. Okay, it seems not to be the case, then I thank you very much and have a great day.